There's a lot of lenses out there. A bold claim, I know. But in a sea of options, why is this one the most recommended and most common second lens of all of them? What makes the Nifty 50 so special? In this video, we'll be going over that, why everyone should get one, and where it excels or falls short. Also fly down to the point where you might want one even if you're shopping for your first lens. If you don't know what a Nifty 50 is other than a lens, it's a 50mm f1.8 prime lens. Now let me break down all that. 50mm is simply your zoom level. Looks quite similar to your natural eyesight. f1.8 is the minimum aperture of the lens, or the widest it can open up to allow light in. We'll talk more about this later, if you haven't watched my previous video. And a prime lens is just a lens that can't change zoom levels. What's the point of a prime lens, though? Isn't the lack of zoom incredibly limiting? Well, here's an industry secret I'll let you in on. You can zoom in with a prime lens, with a simple trick. Ready? This might blow your mind, so sit down. You can zoom in with a prime lens by... Get this. By getting closer to your subject. A prime lens's only real shortcoming is when it's either too tight or too wide for a situation where you can't just move to compensate. Other than that, the pros tend to outweigh the cons. The images tend to be sharper, the autofocus faster, the maximum aperture wider, and all that tends to be cheaper. Now going back to that aperture thing, what is that? Aperture is the opening in the lens that light travels through to hit the sensor and create your image, and your minimum aperture is the widest open it can be measured in f-stops. A Nifty 50's minimum aperture of f1.8 is huge. It lets in a ton of light and gives you a ton of bokeh, or depth of field blur, with a really shallow depth of field on your subject. And yeah, that sure sounds like a lens. So what makes that package so great? How about the fact that even in this economy, they tend to come for under $200 new and as low as $80 used? That price is so good it's nearly theft. But for the sake of argument, let's pretend money is no object to you. Why would you still want a Nifty 50? Why should you get one?
Easy.
Versatility and learning. With photography, those two go hand in hand. The more you can do with a single lens, the more you'll be able to do within its constraints. The more you can do within a set of limits, the more you'll be able to do once you can work outside of them. Not that Nifty 50 is particularly limiting, quite the opposite really. As I proved in my short, you can do pretty much anything with one of these lenses. Whatever you're interested in, you can take pics of it, quite easily, once you've learned the lens. Well, that was a very long video, but anyway. Thank you so much for watching this far, and thank you doubly if you choose to watch my last video right here, where I explained aperture in more depth. But anyway, I've been Harrison, you've been you, and remember, practice makes progress.